Sure.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are learning Arabic grammar to understand Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the hikmah, the wisdom to understand this language, technical terms, so that we can understand more better our understanding the concept of Quran and apply, most importantly, application of these knowledge that we are gathering from Quran into our personal life. And would like to thank our Sheikh, Sheikh Osad Hamid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, bless his family for teaching and spending his time in this class and in this session. So Alhamdulillah, last week we have covered relative pronouns and interrogative nouns. So our Sheikh is going to recap, and inshallah he's going to introduce new topics today. So we'll go ahead and let our Sheikh start the program. Please go ahead.
Let me share that. Where is the share? Do you see my screen?
Yes, it's coming. Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. As rightly said, that we have finished a good number of pronouns and nouns. We finished attached pronoun, detached pronoun, attached pronoun with the prepositions. We looked at the demonstration pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, ismul ishara. We've done that. Then ismul mausula, relative pronouns, allazi, allati, and then a lot of interrogative nouns like ma, man, alif, just all those types of interrogative nouns. So let's look at one little example of nouns and pronouns in one of the very famous ayah from the Quran, which says in Surah Baqarah, Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahunna. So let's try to look at the pronouns. Hunna are they, this is a feminine plural. They, so they here, they is they, what is this? They are feminine plurals. Means they, the feminine, the woman, is written in pronoun form. They, libas, clothes. Lakum, for you. What is you? You are, lakum is masculine plural. So all the feminine plural, that means wives, are the libas of the husbands. Why? So it says hunna libas, they are the libas of lakum, for you. You is masculine plural. So women, the wives are the libas, clothes of the husbands, or they are the clothes of you, masculine. Wa, and antum, you all, this is you. It is masculine plural. You all, masculine. Libas, clothes. Lahunna, for them women. So here them is feminine plural. So you men are libas, or for them, the woman. So fantastic ayah that explains that this, and surprisingly this is sitting in the verse of discussing, where Allah Ta'ala discusses the verse of Ramadan, or fasting. So within the fasting, 83, 84, 86, 183, 86, 87, in that area starts these subjects. Interesting to ponder upon, but this is not the class to think about those problems. Then there's another one we've learned, lakum, for you, men, is written masculine, lakum, dinukum, your deen, waliyaf, and for me, dini, basically dini, ya is abbreviated with the kasra. It shows there was a ya here, so it's my deen, for me, my deen. So, but if I have to say that, if I have to say in third person, lahu dinuhu waliyadini. So lahu dinuhu, same thing, for him, or lahum dinuhum, their religion is theirs, our mine is mine. So same things like that. You can always change the pronouns and make another sentence. So that's what we did so far. So all the pronouns, nouns, relative nouns, interrogative nouns are completed. We'll start a new topic today, inshallah. Today's new topic will be the subject of verbs. The verbs in Arabic is it's a fascinating subject, and it's so I would say mathematical and so algorithmic. The people who are like science background, programming background, logical background, they find this language fascinating because the verbs, unlike many languages, this is very structured. What I'm trying to say that it says that 95% of the verbs are triliteral. Means all the root verbs has only 3 letters on it, 95% at least. So it is 3 letters. All the root words are made verb root words. The fundamental, the primitive form of the verb has only 3 letters. So if I say fa, a, la, fa, ain, lam, this constitutes lam. This constitutes a verb. There's a meaning, means to do. Fa'ala, to do. So we always use these 3 letters, fa, ain, lam, as the first letter of the verb, ain letter of the verb. We always so that since there are always 3 letters, sometimes we identify letter 1, letter 2, letter 3. If somebody asks, what are the triletters of this verb? We can say first letter fa, second letter ain, third letter lam, or we can say the fa letter, ain letter, lam letter. Lam letter will be the third letter, ain letter will be middle letter, fa will be the first letter. We can say many ways. We can say distinguish, express them. There are rest are 4 letters and very few 5-letter verbs. Originally 4-letter, originally 5-letter, but mostly in 3-letter verbs. So we'll be in our class mostly we'll be staying in the 3-letter form because it covers at least 90%, 95% of our verb universe. So let's look at one example. So verbs are basically like any other language, has 3 tenses. You can write that in 3 tenses. One is called past tense. We call madi in Arabic. Madi, past tense. Mudari, present tense. Istiqbal, future tense. But in Arabic, most of the time or all the time, we'll find present and future takes the same form. Means like if you understand present, we got future automatically. It's built in. Like if you know mudari, you know future. So if somebody understands mudari very well, present tense very well, he can create the future tense easily. But past is different, mudari, present is different. But future is a part of present tense. So if you know this, you can do this. So that's easy part. You have to know only 2 tenses, past and present. Future will be automatic. But again, every tense has 2 formation. One could be active form. We call it madi ma'lum, active verb. Another could be a passive verb or madi majhul. Passive one, that means you're writing something in a passive way, passive voice, passive verb. Then it will be in passive. Or like let's say, if I write say in English, if I say he opened the door, means he opened the door, or I could have written in passive form, the door was opened. So the door was opened. Here the open is in passive. Here open is in active. He opened the door was open. So by somebody we do not know, but it has been opened. The door was open. The door opened. So that open is in a passive form, and the first open is in an active form. So we can write the past tense in an active form, and there's a certain pattern to it, and there are some past verbs that you can write in the passive form. So Madi can be past and passive, active and passive, and also Mudari or the present can also be past, active and passive. So we can write both the tenses in active form and also in the present form. So we have to remember that past tense will have two forms, active and passive, and present will have two forms, active and passive. So if we know these four forms, past active, past passive, present active, present passive, we know all the tenses. Future is a byproduct of present. So we don't have to put extra effort to understand the future tense. So let's look at the past active, Madi Ma'lum. How does it look like? So it looks complicated, but let's look at the focus on. So this is a table. We'll be using it all the time. This structure of writing, this type of writing, where the columns will be singular, mufrad, musanna, dual, jama, plural. So columns will be singular, dual, plural, and the rows will be third persons masculine, this row, third person feminine, this row, second person masculine, second person feminine, and first person masculine, feminine together. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and 3 columns. Even if you don't write those headers, if I write the middle part of it, we have to read this way, that this is third singular, third dual masculine, third plural masculine, and a third feminine singular, third feminine dual, third feminine plural. This is how it is arranged. Now, our basic verb was, let's say, fa'ala. If these 3 letters are coming side by side and creating a verb, and this means something to do. But in grammatical form, fa'ala really means he did. So it has a built-in pronoun built in the verb. That's kind of strange in Arabic language. Pronoun is built into the verb. So when you say fa'ala, instead of saying to do, grammatically it will mean he did in past tense. So past tense formula is always very easy. Take 3 letters. In general, you just put a. It turns into a third person singular automatically. Like first letter, second letter, third letter, you just make a, and it becomes he, that verb in past tense. That's how it is. So let's look at examples. So we'll look at more examples. Let's go over the table. So fa'ala, that is he did. So let me, because printing sometimes is not very clear. If fa'ala is he did, so if I have to say they too did in masculine second, so that's basically is adding an alif to it. Like remember that in nouns we said like muslimani, muslimaini. There's extra alif that adds. There's a kind of clue how to remember this. So add an extra alif will make it a dual. So if I write fa'ala, that will means they too did. Fa'ala, he did. Fa'ala, they did, means 2 person did. So now look and see if somebody recites fa'ala versus fa'ala with an extra elongation of lam, there are 2 different meanings. So that's why now it's very critical. If you see somebody is reading here fa'ala, but it's reading here fa'ala, change the meaning. And it was printed here fa'ala, and you pronounced fa'ala wrong, because it just changed from third person singular to third person plural. Simple elongation of the third letter. If you elongate that, it becomes dual. If you don't elongate, it becomes singular. So very important that we understand this part. Fa'ala, fa'ala. And then if I say fa'alu, they did, means plural, masculine. Fa'alu, they did. Again, if I write fa'alat, that means adding a ta at the end, the ta of femininity, like with ta, we see there's a ta marbuta. So that ta is always sign of femininity. So if we add a ta to it, fa'alat, that means she did. Fa'ala, fa'alat. And then add an extra alif, it becomes dual. Fa'alata, fa'alat, fa'alata means they too did. And if I write fa'alna, one single noon, fa'alna means they did, in feminine, all. They all did feminine. Like next is second person singular, where anta is you, and that's ta is coming over here at the end of the verb. To remember this, fa'alta, you did. And the dual will be fa'altuma, fa'altuma, you two did, fa'altum, you did. Anti, fa'alti, you did, feminine, singular. Fa'altuma, you did, feminine dual. Fa'altunna, you did, feminine. You can look here that fa'altuma, fa'altuma, you did in second person dual, and you did in second person in dual on the masculine and feminine takes the same form. That the way we saw that in pronoun, that they had the duals had the same form. So they duals of this two men, two women, and two men. They did in second person. You did are same whether it's man or a woman. And then if I had to write in first person, fa'altu, I did. Fa'alna, we did in dual. Fa'alna, we did in plural. So there's basically two are the same. Fa'altu, fa'alna. Look at that. The pronunciation different. Fa'alna, fa'alna. If you pronounce elongate with noon elongated, if you say fa'alna, I just want to make it elongated. What happened then? They did, woman, becomes we did, meaning drastically changes. Same as here is fa'alna, elongation needed at the noon. But if I say don't elongate the noon, then it becomes fa'alna, it becomes they did. So we can swap the meaning from they did to we did. They did the evil thing, and we'll say we did the evil thing, or we did the evil thing because they did the evil thing. So it kind of a drastic meaning change. So two of the meanings like fa'ala, dual, this is very close meaning, and fa'alna, just elongation will make a drastic meaning difference. So let's look at another example so we understand how things were doing. Let's take the three triliteral called ka, lam, and qaf. Khalaqa. So it will be past will be khalaqa. Khalaqa means he created. Khalaqa, he created. If I add an alif to it, khalaqa means they created. Khalaqu, they created. Khalaqat, she created. Khalaqata, she created, they created. Khalaqna, they created. Khalaqta, khalaqtuma, khalaqtum, khalaqti, khalaqtuma, khalaqtuna, khalaqtu, khalaqana, khalaqna, khalaqna. We see this all the time in the Quran. We created. Khalaqna, we created. Khalaqna, which is first person in plural past tense. We created. So that translation is we created. Let's look at one more example. Let's say qatala. So let's qatala, he killed, of tam lam, qatala. So three triliteral verbs, three letters, qaf, ta, lam. So if you go to the table, qatala, he killed, qatala, qatala, qatalu, qatalat, qatalata, qatalna, qatalta, qataltuma, qataltum, qatalti, qataltuma, qataltunna, qataltu, qatalna. Another sajada means he prostrated. Sujud, sajda, sajada, he prostrated. He shizda, he prostrated. So sajada, sajada, sajadu, sajadat, sajadada, sajadna, sajatta, sajattuma, sajattum, sajatti, sajattuma, sajatunna, sajattu, sajadna. That's it. So really, it's very structured. And if you can memorize this past tense table, you can put any triliteral verb and it may convert your meaning. Any triliteral verb, valid three letters, can put into that, and you can have a meaning and that means like that. It will change the way it is. The table is formed, so it's very algebraic and equation based. So I wrote here a little clue. How do I remember this difficult table? So I wrote a clue here that if you can remember this column, we can derive the x easily. So there is a way to remember this column. I wrote something like a at ta ti tu, a at ta ti tu, a at ta ti tu, fa'ala, fa'alat, fa'alta, fa'alti, fa'altu. If I know this, then somehow we can derive fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alta, fa'alat, fa'alata, fa'alna. So a at ta ti tu, at least give me some hint of this singular column. A at ta ti tu, a at ta ti tu, fa'ala, fa'alat, fa'alta, fa'alti, fa'altu. Fa'altu man I did, sajattu I prostrated, khalaqtu I created, qataltu I killed. So it's very easy. So same rule applies, and if we follow this, we should be able to create any past active form, means madi, ma'lum, because everything is written in active voice, active tense. So with that, I conclude today's session. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions, or otherwise we can conclude?
Alhamdulillah, that is very good. Just one question
Yes.
I have. So, would there be any differences between the regular way of verb written in Arabic literature versus the Quranic Arabic literature on verb, or they
No,
are pretty
same.
much same?
They're
Same.
same. So this is just fundamental structures of Arabic language, that every verb stems from a triletter, three letters. 95%, over 95% of the verbs have the root of triletters. So the tricky part of all the student is, you see a big verb, let's say it says nasta'in in ihdina siratal mustaqim. So you get to, my goodness, it's such a big word, but in the root there are three letters sitting there, and with some formula it turned into this big expression. But there is a formula how it's being there. But there is a triliteral root sitting in the middle. In the middle. From there, it stemmed to this thing. So that's the thing we have to learn, that what are the triliteral roots and how do I find the root letter? Because only I will find the root, these things in the dictionary. I may not find mustaqim in the dictionary. I may not find it. I may find the root letter meaning, and then I know how to derive. If I know the root letter, I can find what mustaqim will mean based on the root letter. So that's so the skills is understood. So if it, like, let's say if somebody says somebody says khalaqtum. So khalaqa and tum was added. We know for this tum is additional to the khalaqa. So verb was khalaqa, khalaqtum, because we know learn from the past active table that khalaqtum or fa'alna, these are root is fa'ala, then noon is added. So all those things, since we learn, even though those are appended at the end, alif, wa alif, ta alif, noon, tum, ma, tuma, ta, ti, tuma, tunna, they are all additive to the fa'ala root. So if I ever see this 3, 4, 5 letter root, or 4 letter, 5 letter verb, but it has, the root is always triliteral. These are all additive. We learn from the technique how the things are added to the original verb, and meaning has been changed by adding in a certain way. And that's the part of the learning. How do I change the verb in a certain way, and how the meaning changes? Once we know that, we know where it is coming from. We always know the root, and root will help us to find out the meaning, root meaning, and then look at the dictionary with the root letters.
Alhamdulillah, that makes sense. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for sharing your knowledge. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa
Wa alaikum
rahmatullahi wa
salam wa
barakatuh.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.